Good evening and welcome back to the channel. This video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. All right, guys, I got three things to go over. I want to start with the Russia, Ukraine, China, US situation. There's been some updates there. And I'll just give you my thoughts on Bitcoin, crypto, the market, where we are, my general plan moving forward. And then I do want to clarify a few things just about my channel, my content, and my positions on certain things. Okay, so first, I just want to start with Bitcoin crypto, get that out of the way. So Bitcoin's around 23K at the time of this recording. I don't know where it's going to be by the time this video uploads. We saw a pretty decent pullback, and now we're kind of waiting to see what happens from here. Do we make a move up over the next couple weeks? Do we just start trending sideways for the next month or two, or do we pull back even further? I guess we'll see. You know my general take on this. If we stay, let's just rewind 3 or 4 days ago. If we stay at those levels or these levels or anywhere below here, I'm just going to continue to accumulate until the market turns up, whenever that is, whether it's 6 months out, 12 months out, doesn't really matter to me one way or the other. And if we go back to the levels we were at like 4 or 5 days ago, and we see a significant move higher from there, that's when I'll stop buying. I know I said I was going to stop buying ICP at 550, and then I moved it up to 6. However, you know, as things change, I may change my general position on things. But in a general sense, once things get over my purchase price, I'm going to stop. ICP dropped back under my purchase price, so it made sense. And when you take into consideration a lot of other things that are going on right now, which I'm going to discuss, it just made sense for me to continue adding. All right, that's that. And if you do want to like look more in depth into the market, TA, previous cycles, where we stand as of right now, I mean, there's plenty of good analysts that are covering everything in a comprehensive manner. You know, I would just, suggest, hear both sides out. I've listened to the bear case, all right? I watched Benjamin Cowan's entire video the other day about, worst case scenario for crypto, because I wanted to hear the case he was making, and I wanted to compare it to the case many of the bulls are making and look at who has more data, facts, and evidence to support their position. However, despite my own opinion on which position is stronger, it doesn't mean that's going to happen. I mean, I have a deep appreciation for how fake this market is and for how much control these people have. And I think at any point in time, they can throw out some positive or negative catalyst that sends things going straight up or straight down. And that's going to kind of flow right into the next part of this video. So those are my thoughts on that. And again, I've accumulated so much at this point that I don't care. There's literally nothing. I mean, at this point, as long as implementation continues, as long as this remains the new system, I'm good. So lower prices doesn't concern me at all. Lower prices, and I said this like 6 months ago, but it only accelerates my path to retirement. It's all that it does. Okay? It produces no reaction whatsoever. I know that that's not the case for a lot of people. I wish that there was something that I could say or do that would cause there to be less hysteria when prices are dropping, but I don't know what else I can say. Yeah. But I'm not going to pretend like I'm, hair on fire when I'm not. So, I mean, I think that so much of the propaganda in crypto is really designed to get people to have the opposite reaction to what they probably should have at any given point in time. Yeah. I was talking to a subscriber last night in the comments, and, I was saying, man, like the only times I get really concerned is when I think that alts are about to leave the station. That's the only time I get concerned. Period. Because like, that's the big threat. That's the big risk. It always has been for me, at least. Not financial advice, make your own decisions, but that's always been the biggest threat for me, is that at some point in time, as long as this remains a new system, as long as implementation continues, right, alts leave the station and don't come back to the station. Not saying they don't correct big or have huge crashes, but at some point they leave a particular price range and they never come back. And that's always been the biggest risk for me, is that happening before I feel like I've accumulated how much I want to accumulate. So there we go. On to the next thing. So, and this kind of plays into some things we were just discussing. I've seen reports come out from Washington Post and Axios and some others suggesting or saying that China is calling for a ceasefire in Russia and Ukraine. And this could go one way or the other. You know, we could go into World War III. There could be a sudden peace deal. But just understand that however this plays out, it's going to impact other things. And I've given you my thoughts on this whole global conflict. I have to see a certain amount. There's a threshold I have for the amount of evidence I need to see before I believe something is real, or before I even believe that it's most likely that it is real. And I just haven't seen the quality of information or the amount of evidence I would need to see with this whole situation that's happening all around the world for me to buy into what's happening. You know, maybe everything we're being told is the truth. It would be a first in my lifetime, but I don't know. And at the end of the day, I can't get too consumed with that, because in my personal opinion, the biggest thing happening is the new system being implemented. And that's the thing that most of the propaganda is designed to distract people from, in my personal opinion. So I also saw where, I don't know if I already said this, but so I've seen new reports come out, not from the Washington Post, not from Axios, but just from some individuals on Twitter, one White House correspondent, and then one other small media outlet saying that Zelensky is supposed to be meeting with XI. Now, I haven't confirmed this, but that would be a significant development here. And this plays into something that we've discussed numerous times. They have so much control. They own everything. They can literally just create their own reality. They can just tell people something's happening, and everybody's going to believe it. And these people have too much control, and they own everything for me to be playing games with them. And I view playing games as me jumping in and out of this and out of that and doing all this other stuff. If certain people like to each their own, and if you're comfortable doing all that, knock yourselves out. But this is too big for me to take any chances, given that these people have control over everything. They own everything. They can just create their own reality out of thin air. And the market is 100% fake, in my personal opinion. And at any point in time, they can throw some news story out there and crash the market, or send the market straight up if they want to. And so given that context, I'm not taking any chances with these people. All right. So that's that. Last part here is I do want to clarify some things about my channel. And this, I guess, plays into the last two parts of the video. But guys, I really don't care what you decide to do. And I'm not suggesting that if you don't just dollar cost average and hold, that like you're not going to make it and you're going to lose all your money and so on and so forth. If you literally sit on the sidelines 100% in cash with a lump sum, and let's say 2 months ago you bought the exact bottom, I couldn't be happier for you. And if you shorted the market on high leverage and made $1 million, I genuinely I could not be happier for you. I don't care what path any of you take to get to where you want to go. However, many times y'all are speaking as an individual, or where I'm going to do this, or I think this, or I'm doing this instead of this, or so on and so forth. Y'all are speaking as an individual. When y'all are saying that stuff to me, put yourself in my position. There might be 400 or 500 people that watch this video. And if I wasn't on YouTube, I would probably have taken some chances on certain plays, meaning that I have so many different positions. There would have been times where I probably would have moved into stables and then moved back into that asset after a perceived drop came. Now, I don't know how that would have played out. I mean, I wouldn't have done it with the majority of my portfolio, but I would have done it to some degree just to see if I could do it successfully. probably wouldn't have been able to, because I'm wrong more times than not about which way the market's going to go at any particular point in time. But I would, the point is that I probably would have taken a little bit more chances if I wasn't on here. But since I am on here, and since I am showing everything that I'm doing, and I've thought about this, I thought about, well, you don't have to show everybody what you're doing, but then again, there's so much propaganda, and there's so much dishonesty in the space that, it doesn't, it just made sense for me to try to be as transparent as I possibly could. And so if I'm going to show what I'm doing, to be as transparent as possible, while I'm telling everybody, make your own decisions, this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, the whole nine. But while I'm showing what I'm doing, I know that even if I say, make your own decisions, do your own research, come to your own conclusions, I know that certain people might mirror what I'm doing. And so I kind of looked at this like, if I have a family member that's watching, and that let's say that they're mirroring everything that I do, I'm essentially going at this by my own estimation in the most, I probably say that the safest, most effective way that I can, in which the only way that I'm really going to lose is the whole system has to be destroyed for my portfolio to fail. Now, I could have, tried out trading, or tried out, doing this and that and the other, but my confidence level would not be anywhere near my confidence level in betting on the long-term success of these companies. Like, I have max conviction in a lot of my positions. I don't have max conviction on where I think the market's going at any point in time. And so if I start doing that on here and showing what I'm doing, and I'm wrong, and other people are mirroring what I'm doing, I try to take the most conservative, safest, but also most effective approach that I possibly could, and explain why I was doing what I was doing, the reasoning behind it. And yeah, but that's not because, like, I want you to do the same thing. I'm not going to take chances on here, because I know that even if it's just 1% or 5% or 10% of people, I know that people will mirror what I'm doing. And I'm not going to do things that I don't have an extremely high degree of confidence in. Okay? So for you as an individual, that's a different situation. I'm telling you guys, like, a lot of you who just, like, a lot of times when we're talking about stuff like this, or we're talking about strategy, or we have a difference of opinion on, like, what to do at any particular point in time, think about it from I understand your point of view, but think about it from mine, where I have 500 people watching, and I'm just not going to do things that I personally believe are reckless for me, because my confidence level is low. See, if your confidence level is extremely high and whatever you think is going to happen, that's a different situation, right? So the main takeaway here is that we're all in very different situations, and that what's best for one person might not be what's best for another person. And just because I have no confidence in my ability to call price swings, that doesn't mean that other people don't, right? And there's more than one way to get to the end goal. The end goal is turning this into an extremely profitable investment opportunity, right? There's more than one way to get there. I'm not suggesting there's only one way, only my way. But what I would say is that I approach this like the people that are watching are like friends and family. A lot of them are. Well, a lot, not relative to the total amount, but there are a decent amount of friends and family watching. And so I'm going to do what I personally believe is the safest, most effective strategy, that even though I bet really big, and some people would view what I did as insane, my own personal, I think it's the safest, most effective strategy. Now, 5 years from now, when assuming this remains a new system, assuming implementation continues, so on and so forth, assuming my net worth is significantly higher in 5 years, I might take more chances with a small percentage of my portfolio. But I'm not going to do things that I view to be careless at a time like this, period. So that's it, okay? So I'm not saying that you can't do that, and I'm sure that many of you could, swing trade or go long here, short here, and it turn into a profitable opportunity. But, like if you were talking to 500 people, I'm telling you right now, if you were in my shoes, you would be a lot more careful with things that you say. Because it impacts other people. It's easy, like if you're an anonymous person in a comment section, the things that you say might not negatively or positively or whatever affect a lot of people. But once you start speaking to 100, 200, 300, 400 people, it's like, I have to take that into consideration, is what I'm saying. I mean, I probably talked for like 8 minutes on this and haven't even made a point, but hopefully you understand where I'm coming from with that. And guys, like at the end of the day, I just want to see like all of you guys in a better position in the future than you are right now. That's really all I care about. And even those of y'all who have argued with me for a long time about numerous different things, or just, whatever, I just want to see all of you in a better position 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now than you are right now. And you to have more resources to be able to kind of avoid a lot of the dystopian type shit that's coming. So that's really all I'm concerned about. And however you get there is however you get there. It might not be the same path that I take, but as long as you get there, that's really all I care about. But I will give my opinion in certain situations. Right? I'm not saying that you're wrong or that I'm right or whatever it may be. I will rigorously defend certain positions. Yeah. So, and another thing too, guys, like I'm sure that I know this actually. I've brushed a number of, or I've rubbed a number of subscribers the wrong way, and with certain responses that I have, and never take something that I say in the comment section. I only have like one way of talking, for the most part. Like I just, sometimes I say things and it comes off not how I intended, because I'm kind of like a straight talker. I don't know. So I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to act like I know it all. I'm not trying to, just the severity of the situation, in my opinion, calls for a certain sense of urgency. And there's just not enough time to like beat around the bush and to wrap everything in bubble paper or bubble tape, whatever it's called, and just to sugarcoat everything. There's just not enough time for it. The shit that's happening all around the world is entirely too serious. The world's changing way too quickly, and there's way too much at stake for me to be beating around the bush. And so I'm just going to be very direct. And sometimes I get shit wrong and just say, hey, you got this wrong. And I'll just be like, yeah, I got it wrong. But okay, so that's it. I don't know if any of that made any sense, but that was the best way that I could try to explain what I was trying to explain. So that's really it. I'm off this weekend, so it's the weekend, but so I'll get another video or two out to discuss other things, but I wanted to try to cover a number of things in this video, so hopefully I did that. That's all I have for this video. Take care. Have a good night. I'll see you next video.